Bruno Fernandes is here to stay at Man United, and Mbuemo has officially given the green light to Man United, and it looks like he's going to be on his way. All of that on today's episode. A bit about Lisandro Martinez returning to training, and actually the potential transfer news of Emiliano Martinez from Aston Villa coming to here. So we can get straight into the Bruno news. I mean, it broke that he's officially staying. He rejected the Al Hilal offer. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so I think it's a quite of a quick one actually, because obviously in the last episode, you know that I was saying that the project would benefit from maybe having this amount of money. As much as you know what, I'm on Bruno's side. I think he's been a great servant for Man United. I was definitely saying, yeah, I could see a Man United uh, uh, without him, and it wouldn't basically have been the end of the world for me. However, at the same time, if he stays, he stays. That's it. That I didn't have any problems with that either. It's just um, I have to put forward both sides of the argument, and I can move on. I can move on from that. If people think that you know what, it's two faced or it's well, you want him to go 1 minute, you don't. That's not what I was saying. I was basically saying putting the forward the argument that the money that is involved, the situation Man United in so many different factors, a unique situation. So I'm not backtracking. If he went, he went, and he said it himself. If I wanted to go, Man United were ready to sell me, and I'm on that side. If Man United were ready to sell him, I'm ready to sell him. If Man United are ready to keep him, I'm ready to keep Bruno. Finished.
Finished. I mean, a quick one from you, but for me, in my opinion, I'm kind of disappointed to be honest that we didn't actually sell Bruno. I think we should have sold. That's 100 million for a. He's going to be 31 come middle of the next season, I think as well. So a 31-year-old, 100 million, and with that money, I mean, we have literally have. I don't know where we're going to get the rest of the money from the other sales, but for me, I think we
Put
need
it
a
this way:
rebuild.
you've got
We need a proper rebuild because at the end of the day, as much as Bruno what he's done for the club, this squad, like the whole squad, needs to just be completely rebuilt. And unfortunately, Bruno is in that firing line, and he, I mean, I don't know why. I mean, you can't blame him for listening to his family and wanting to stay. I mean, 700K a week, no tax, living in the UAE. I'm sure most people would accept that, but obviously his reasons are different. I just think we missed out a lot there. I understand Amarim wanted to keep him, but for me, we need the
yeah,
rebuild. We
exactly.
need someone
Look,
slightly younger. If this was a 25-year-old Bruno, I would have the conversation. But
yeah.
for a 31-year-old someone who's approaching 31, 100 million, we made the wrong decision.
Look, I was gonna butt in and say a few things, but I'm gonna leave it as it is because there's no point rehashing it. He stays, he stays. Bruno is a class player. Any manager wouldn't get rid of him. No manager in the world. They'll be thinking you're mental. The guy offers so much more. So let's move on, man. To Mbuems.
And Mbuemo. So this is the news that
Mbuems.
broke a few days ago. First report from David Ornstein that he's basically given the green light to Man United. He's picked us over the likes of Newcastle, the likes of Arsenal, Tottenham. I think we're in for him as well. But just to see a player of that quality still, our name still holds some sort of, we still have a name out there. We still have a stature out there.
Always has. He always has. There's plenty. You name the players, Cavani's, Ronaldo's, Sancho's. You name the players that in the last 13 years since we've been awful, and it's still come Pogba's. Yes, you could say money, but no, a lot of other clubs were wasting money in them 13 years as well. The financial situation went crazy throughout Europe where teams were. I mean, remember at one point Juventus was spending over 100 million, and look how much financial trouble they're in. So at the same time, it wasn't just Manchester United; everyone was going mental, and so United still had that pull for a lot of players. And again, at the end of the day, yes, you're right, it goes to show that there's something that people need to realize when these players why they sign for Man United. Now, there's a lot of talk about players wanting to sign for Champions League clubs. Now, there's two types of Champions League clubs. There's a Champions League club and there's a Champions League participation club. All right, the Champions League participation club is Arsenal, is Tottenham, is Villa, all these Atletico Madrid, all these clubs that seem to be in the Champions League just for other teams to go out and be. You can go on a good run, but you're not a Champions League club until you win that trophy. And you're not a Champions League legendary club, a stalwart, unless you win that trophy two times, more than twice, and you're not the best in Europe until you win a Champions League and the league at the same time. In fact, you can't be winning the Champions League and then being eighth in the table like Chelsea and Liverpool were.
Yeah, no, no,
Now,
no.
obviously, Chelsea, Liverpool are a legendary Champions League club because they won multiple. By definition, by the amount they've won, they're a Champions League legendary club. But in our lifetime, they've won the Champions League two times, isn't it? Under
Yeah.
Klopp and under Fig. And both of them occasions they've never been champions. So I'm sorry, you're not the best in Europe. Okay, if you're not the
You know,
best in the
you
league,
know what was crazy? I
that's you.
literally, you look online, and then I was scrolling on X, and I'm seeing Newcastle fans saying why Mbuemo was chosen United over
Exactly. So
Newcastle. I
my
think
point was going to
they need to have a head check and realize that it doesn't matter if you're in the Champions League once or
exactly
twice.
what I'm trying to say. You're a
Yeah,
Champions League participation club, meaning that Mbuemos and all these other world are going to listen to a serious manager, a serious project, and say, wait a minute, you barely in the Champions League club, and you might be going through this thing where, okay, you have everyone else's shit, and you've just scraped only because of Man United beating Aston Villa, scraped into the Champions League with 60 what? How many points? 67 points, something like 61.
so
Very low amount
luckily
of points.
we did them a favor.
Exactly. Exactly. And then they only went through because of the fifth spot ruling, which was never existed before. So the way I'm looking at it now, you could be even be Tottenham getting rejected by Mbuemo. You're going to get rejected. Arsenal getting rejected by players. Remember, their youth players are coming to Man United. Cheeto, Heaven, they're all coming because they understand that this is not a Champions League club. They're just a Champions League participation. And when a big boy comes along, they get slapped and they go back down. Next season, these clubs are going to go on a bit of maybe of a decent run because of the new format. It's going to allow Newcastle, Aston Villa, all these Tottenhams have a decent run. They're going to get slapped. They're going to get slapped eventually. And all that happens, their fans are going to get excited. And when they're going to get excited, at the same time, their league form is going to be very low. So their fans are going to be asking for their manager's head in the league. And they're going to go on this Champions League and think, oh, and they'll get knocked out. And they'll be thinking, what was the point of that? We had an awful season because of we were in a Champions League that we cannot have a squad for. It's
Cannot have
league.
cannot have a
Can't do
squad
it.
for, and for me, like when you really think about it, doesn't whether we finish even 17th next season, it's not going to change the fact that if Man United want a certain player and a team in the Champions League, like a Nottingham Forest team, let's say they finish there in the top four,
Sorry for buying
they're
loads
going
of
to
players.
we're always going to get picked over. But moving on to actually what Mbuemo actually brings to the team, I mean, goals, assists. I mean, he hit 20 goals in the league just this past season as well. I mean, you look at
Unbelievable stats.
the way he finishes the ball. Man United have missed finishes. I mean, having Cunha on one side, having Mbuemo on one side, that's two really,
Exactly.
really
The
good
ball
finishes.
recoveries. I saw a Sky Sports stat they put on Twitter today. He's in the top three in the Premier League for ball recoveries for distance covered in the Premier League. I mean, he will get back and get forward just like Cunha. I'm sorry, but it does look like, and I'm just reading now that Ben Jacobs, isn't it? Yeah, he's saying that there's issues with these contract, and then Fabrizio Romano's even said it. He goes, that's just normal. They want to get as much money as possible, but he's not going to extort Man United. That's ridiculous. And Ben Jacobs has said something just recently on Twitter. I've just read that Brighton will are looking for a deal and they're happy to even do installments and they're not going to go crazy. Even though today already there's been a Newcastle journalist for the Times saying, "Oh, he wants 250k. Oh, Brentford are going to pay hardball and they're not going to be easy pushovers and want more than 60 million." They're not going to do that. Man United is a new Man United, and yes, his stats, like I said, he fits any team. It's shocking that it's not shocking because people are like, "Oh my god, did you? Everyone must have seen the Newcastle supporter on Talksport crying." I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
But
They,
listen, just to imagine that front three, this is the first time in years where I think, even past the Cavani's, Pogba's, first time in years where, you know what, United are actually doing the right thing. You go and buy the best players in the league.
around you,
You
yeah,
buy it around you. Premier League proven. I mean, and Mbuemo, Cunha, and then for me, we definitely will sign a striker. And then if you can imagine
Williams, yeah.
a Gyökeres.
Oh, I mean, we weren't going to talk about him, but have you noticed? There's nothing in the transfer window about him. Who's going for good? He's got a buyout clause. No one's going for it. I've got a feeling he might have been asked to wait. His agents might have been asked to wait, and we're just getting this Mbuemo out of the way next week. don't be surprised if it starts picking up with Gyökeres because why has no one gone in for him?
Yeah,
55,
I
60 million.
think we probably tapped up the agent, and then for me, yeah, I mean, what we're really missing is probably one more midfielder and another wing back from doing something special in the league. I think we can do something special in the
But I
league.
think another striker as well. I think you got to get someone like Mateta in as well because him coming in, I reckon Mateta and Gyökeres. Wow,
That, that, that
wow.
that's a front three proper Premier League front three. And it reminds me, what signing them and Mbuemo signing reminds me of? It reminds me of a signing where Liverpool signed Salah and they signed Mane.
And Firmino, who was relatively unknown, it's the
Yeah, from
Firmino
Hoffenheim.
signing, the glue, the one that they went underrated. And even though he was scoring a lot of goals, he was that guy through the middle.
But
Again,
I wouldn't even mind. Listen, I know it's gonna sound bad, but even if we just had Xerxes the type of player
oh, by
where
the way, I got a special. Yeah, he deserves. We need to chat about Xerxes.
listen, no, no, I'm saying Xerxes in this front three will work because Cunha and Mbuemo, I know they're not actually primarily creators, they're goal scorers. So Xerxes best play, where does he
As
do his
well.
best work? Kind of like in that false nine position, playing both of them.
Yeah, this
I
guy's
think
gonna
it'll
set
work.
them up. Have you seen a player in so many years with the skills that Xerxes just does? It's shocking.
At 6'3".
Xerxes, bro, this guy. You know what? When that Newcastle game happened, I was shouting at the screen as well, like get him off. It comes down to naivety from us fans because some players need time to bed into the league. It's a tough league. It's a strong league. He needs to get his distances correct, his strength correct, get the feel of the other Premier League defenders. How to give him time. He's getting that, and he's getting that properly. Some of the games he's played in and made defenders look stupid. He's made defenders look stupid. Again, it just comes down to we've got a poor team around him like you said, if you get Cunha and a Mbuemo, oh my days.
And listen,
Xerxes, I've
just
got people who hate
imagine, like, we've gone from seeing Garnacho, seeing Hoyland, Rashford up front, and now look at this. Finally, a front three, yeah, where me and you and other fans can be proud and confident in the front three that we actually have. We've had so many crap front threes.
right, isn't it? Because look, when we'll be there, by the way. So if we do get listeners or if we do get watchers who are watching, me and Ryan will be at the games next season, as many as we can. So we'll be bringing some content from there. So it'll be interesting to see because it's a new type of United under Amarim under his 3-4-3. And it's gonna be like the way that Ten Hag failed is that he came in with an Ajax style that he didn't want to. He was maybe too scared to buy players for. He was too scared to demand this style of football, and he was too scared just to get off at the bad foot and have that one. The difference between him and Amarim is Amarim said at the beginning, "No, this is my style is going to cause huge problems," and he said it. The storm is coming, and it happened. Ten Hag should have said the same. But I remember me and you were at the Brighton game. We remember that game. Remember on the way back on Ten Hag's first game, we were there, and we 2-1. We were furious. But then Brentford and Mbuemo absolutely rinsed us the second game, and Ten Hag forgot about his style. He still had time in this window, or he could have waited till January and he could have said, "I'm going to play my style, teach it to them. This is going to be tough. My way at Ajax is going to be tough," and we would have been 10, 15, whatever. But he didn't do that. He reverted back to defensive counter-attacking football, and he got him to what third, and it was like we just had enough players to this. The league was a bit in that way where United did reasonably well because the teams around us ultimately didn't do reasonably well
Listen,
and he got caught out the second season.
lastly, what we can get into is obviously Emiliano Martinez. So Ben Jacobs is reporting that
Just saw that as well,
United
yeah.
United United are
This looks
interested
real,
in
isn't
this
it?
player.
I'm
Would you?
shocked. 31
He,
years old.
he has mistakes in him. I mean, is he
Yeah,
really
I'm
that
shocked.
much better
Oh,
than
no,
Onana?
but did you see? You didn't see the other one. Have you seen Chelsea are about to buy
Mannion.
Maignan?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and they want he. I think Milan want 20, 30 million
40,
or
they
something
want
like that.
45 million around that.
But then he's got a year left on his contract. They're going to say they're asking, yeah, you can have 10 million. If Chelsea put a 10 million bid in and it's accepted, Man United should go straight in with 11. just to see what happens.
See what happens because Onana
Yeah,
for me he needs to get sold. But you
he's
can't.
done. He's
He,
done.
he,
Look,
he,
don't get me wrong. I do reckon in a bet when Mbuemo, Cunha, and a new striker is pressing from the front, the defense will push up. Our defense will look at there will be less of these pressure on Anana. I do reckon that he might even go through the season and we might not notice him much. So he is a huge problem, but it's a problem that can be almost managed. And I know that might sound strange, but it can be managed. Yeah, because he's been exposed because of how poor our front three are, and we get pressed upon, and he just gets shot after shot after shot. So you know what? I'm not saying that don't replace him, but this Martinez thing, I'm shocked. I can't believe it's quite real. I can't believe it. I mean, 31 years old,
yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie to you. He has made quite a few mistakes this season. So I'm
quite a
not too
few.
sure. I just think we're gonna get Onana 2.0.
With Martinez, no,
Have you seen
Martinez is
why
he.
is Villa letting a World Cup winner like that go? Why do you think?
I think he wants to go. I think he's had enough. He wants to play for a top club before he finishes his career. I think with him, he plays one of the most dangerous games. Like you see all the shithousery he does with the penalties. Like how many does he say puts players off? Like push in the box. He's a bully in the box at corners, catching the ball. I think he commands his area much better. And don't get me wrong, he's got that wild card in him. We saw that against Aston Villa. Remember we just played them and he just pushed over or just barged straight into Hoyland. He's
Speaks
got that in him. Don't get me
Speaking
wrong,
about
but at the same
Argentinian
time,
players, I mean Lissandro, he's back now. I mean, do you see him actually starting next season, or do you think he's going to start from the bench?
yeah. I think you know what it says that he starts pre-season and he begins in September. Yeah, he's the best. He's of course he starts. Of course he starts. I think what you do is Aiden Heaven is his successor for sure. And rather than just let's chucking everyone in there all the time, let him progress in there. So let's get as much as we can out because I think Martinez is around about 28 now, 28, 29. Let's get as much as out of Martinez. He's a super fit player. He's a strong player. Sadly, he's his own worst enemy because he'll kick the ground, jump into a tackle, and he's gone for 3, 4 months. Uh, but if he stays away and he controls his physical ability maybe a lot more. He doesn't really get injured. Like he doesn't pull up really, as in like muscle injuries, etc. Which is
I think it's just
obviously
it's the way he's built as well, wasn't it? And I mean, the Premier League's so physical, and a player with that physicality, I mean, he's bound to get injuries. For me, he when he first especially burst onto the scene, he was really really good. I do think injuries have hampered some of his
dampened. Yeah,
performances as well.
of course.
They,
Look, he
they,
came
they,
back. Well, look, when he
he,
came back, yeah, he came back and he was really good. He took about 3, 4 games, but then suddenly at Fulham, he was a baller after that, and then bang, he's gone again.
he's gone again. But I mean, that's it from us. I mean, I don't really think there's any other news today, so I think we're gonna end it there. But
As
what
soon
I'll
as there's more
do,
news, we'll be back on straight away.
I mean, keep
Mbuemo. We need to get Mbuemo over the line, and then you get that striker, and then something special's happening again at Old Trafford,
some
and then we're going to be there.
title charges on. But what I would say is that obviously keep up to date with the news and stuff on X. We'll make sure to do that, and then if anything breaks, I'll try get a video out as quick as I can. Hopefully with my uncle. If not, it will probably be by myself. But before we go, you want to plug your channel?
Yeah, so remember, it's Sook Makes Sense. If you're into conspiracy theories, the weird, the wonderful, if you want to hear about some history, I've got it all on my channel. I've got travel blogs as well. One I went to Japan. Please check it out. Sook Makes Sense. He'll put it down at the bottom. But yeah, have a look, and yeah, I guess we'll speak soon.
And please like and subscribe, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.